So today we are at a small retail outlet. It's called Elouise Lingerie, and they have a HeatingSave system to reduce the cost of their energy bills for this shop. And although it's quite small, you'll find that there's several unique features that are requirements where they need to keep certain areas of the shop quite warm because they've got a boudoir and things like this. And they've managed to zone this. So with the HeatingSave system, we've managed to zone and still keep the place nice and warm and cut our heating bills and our energy bills down at the same time. So let's go inside now and have a look at Elouise Lingerie. So here we are now in the main shop of Elouise Lingerie. This is the main room where somebody would walk into the shop entrance, if you will. And this is heated by HeatingSave. And behind us here, you will see that there are radiator covers. And behind those covers are TRVs, thermostatic radiator valves. And those radiator valves are controlled via HeatingSave, and those are controlled via a wired mechanism, because it was possible in this particular shop to run a wire from the HeatingSave system behind the panelling to the TRV. And you might remember in previous videos I pointed out that whenever possible you should use wired TRVs rather than wireless, because they're more reliable over long term. Of course, there's no batteries or anything like that to change. So that's what we've done here. We had the opportunity to run the wires, so we put in the wired TRVs. And that's what's keeping the whole of this shop front nice and warm in winter. So Yvonne, you're the shop manager, so tell me what you do with HeatingSave.
Well, Nigel, I don't even touch HeatingSave. I don't touch any of the buttons. It just runs itself completely. I know it cuts down on our gas bills, but apart from that, I don't do anything. Good,
excellent. Well, it's doing its job then, so that's very good. So we'll now go into the back of the shop, and we'll go and look at where the boiler is and the HeatingSave unit is, and if it's okay, we'll go upstairs to the boudoir, because yes, I think we've got that zoned as well. So
lovely.
We'll go up there.
Okay.
Right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So here we are now in the just behind the kitchen area, which is sort of like the boiler room and boiler cupboard behind me, which is where the Elouise Lingerie HeatingSave system is, and the boiler, etc. So let's open the door and see what's inside, shall we? So, whoops, in here we've got the HeatingSave controller, which is here on the wall, and if I open this a bit more, then you can see this is the boiler. So the HeatingSave unit here is controlling the boiler that is here, and there's no pumps on this particularly, because the pump is integral to the boiler itself, because this is a combi boiler. And there's also another expansion unit here for HeatingSave, because we have put in zoning, and we're putting zoning both wired and wireless TRVs, so that we can zone each individual room. And in a minute we're going to go upstairs and we'll have a look at how that's been deployed. And the other problem you've got, this is an old building, and in old buildings the heat is sometimes, especially in the autumn and spring, is inclined to rise, so you end up with upstairs being hot and downstairs being cold. That can also happen in winter, by the way, as well. So here what happens is HeatingSave, if it spots that upstairs is nice and warm and downstairs is cold, then it will turn the heating off upstairs and deploy the heating downstairs. All the time saving energy, which of course is the thing that we're trying to achieve here. So let's have a look at the keypad, because you'll notice on the front of this there is no keypad. So the keypad is very cleverly hidden here. I say hidden, it's not really hidden. The keypad is just here. The cable for the keypad comes from the HeatingSave unit behind me into the keypad itself. That means that they don't need to, the staff don't need to open the door to the cleaning cupboard where the boiler is, because they can control it all from this keypad here. So if they wish to boost a particular zone by hitting this button here and working their way through the zones, then they can do that, or they can turn a particular heating zone off at the touch of a button. Of course, they can do it with that, or they can do it using their iPhone or mobile device. So now we'll go upstairs and we'll have a look at the boudoir and how the HeatingSave system's been deployed there and how we are controlling the individual radiators. So here we are in the upstairs of Elouise Lingerie, and in this corridor we're not only using HeatingSave as a method of reducing our energy, but also for intruder detection. And that will go through to the owner's iPhone so that they can see if there is activity in a particular room or area, whether they feel it should be at that time of day or whatever. Obviously if the alarms are set, then obviously the alarms go off. So we have up here a PIR detector, and that is spotting movement. And that is useful not only when the alarms are set, but also knowing whether people are in the area or when alarms aren't set. So you can see, you get an idea of activity and what's taking place. And here on the wall, we have a very interesting device, because this is our temperature, relative humidity and occupancy sensor. So what happens here is this little bit just there is the occupancy detector, so that's detecting me right now. And then you'll notice there's veins at the top here so that we get a good airflow, so we can be measuring quite accurately the temperature and relative humidity in here as well. We mentioned about relative humidity. Why is that so important in a building like this? Well, this building is old, the bricks are quite porous, it's 9-inch type brickwork, and so it can get damp at certain times of the year when it's not being used. So here, HeatingSave can detect this and turn on the heating, not necessarily to heat the place, but just to stay above the dew point. Something very important. So now we're going to go through and have a look at the boudoir, which is another room. Again, got a very different sort of use, because it's got to be kept warm, but it's only used at certain times of the day. So zoning and keeping temperatures at the right temperature at the right time of day, absolutely essential here. So we're going to have a look at the boudoir. So here we are in the boudoir of Elouise Lingerie. So this is in effect a changing room. It's very important to be able to keep the temperature right here, because obviously people really don't feel like changing and putting on different sorts of lingerie if it's freezing cold. So the HeatingSave system is using this temperature sensor here. Again, it's the one we've seen earlier on, which measures occupancy, temperature and relative humidity. And also here in this room, behind the radiator over in the corner, we have the wireless TRVs. So why did we use wireless TRVs in this particular circumstance? Well, quite simply, we couldn't get wires in here. It was impossible to try and do this without messing up the fabric of the building, and the decoration has only been recently decorated. So wireless TRVs were the answer, and so that's what we use inside this room. So wireless TRVs in the boudoir, behind this radiator cover here. Unfortunately there's not much to show you because it's all hidden, it's all out of the way, but trust me, there is a wireless TRV controlling this radiator. We're now in the swimwear room, and this is yet another zone, and here we have a temperature sensor on the wall just here, and it's the same type as you saw before in the hall, which has the occupancy sensor on the front, and then it's measuring temperature and relative humidity. Quite important because this is an outside wall, a very old wall, and so relative humidity is very important because we've got a lot of expensive stock here, and we need to be able to make sure that we don't go below the dew point. So here behind this mannequin in the swimwear room, we also have a range extender for the wireless TRVs. Now this is quite important because these are solid walls, an old building, and we need to be able to get those radio signals through so that HeatingSave can tell the TRVs when to turn on and when to turn off to keep the temperature just right. So here we are in the office of Elouise Lingerie, and in here we've managed to get wires to the radiators. So obviously we've used wired TRVs, as I've always recommended. So if we look down here, one wired TRV, and you can see the wire come up through the carpet here, and this controls the heating inside this office.